You've made it through Halloween, now try to survive Christmas. Santa's here and he knows when you've been naughty. Parents have tried to stop it, community leaders have tried to suppress it. The PTA fought to ban it and critics tried to bury it. We watched the 1984 cult classic Silent Night, Deadly Night. We watch it so you don't have to, so you know what time it is.
Horror, so bad and scary. Splitting up is never okay. Plot, who needs it? Don't turn on the lights. Cars don't ever start, but that's alright. Running upstairs instead of out the door. Good acting, what do we need that for? Horrible horror, so bad and scary. Enjoy the show, but not really.
Greetings, Moon Goons and Fuckers. Welcome to the Christmas episode of Horrible Horror, the podcast where we watch the worst and the worst in horror movies. Horror movies so bad they're scary. I am your host, Marshall Hampton. With me, returning with me, is Mr. Aaron Southworth.
Ooh, that hurt my ears.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So apologize for that one.
Merry Christmas, everyone. It's a couple days after, but I still got the itch for Christmas. I still got the burn, kind of like chlamydia.
Couple days. Nonsense. We're recording this the day after Christmas.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we did the cult classic, famous Silent Night, Deadly Night. So come on, join us on the warm side of the door for this crazy historical slasher flick. Like I said, it was released on November 9th of 1984. You can find it on Amazon, YouTube, iTunes, Vudu, Google Play, probably anywhere else. I actually happen to own the movie.
As do I. I mean, this is one of the few ones that I actually own.
So there you go. The normal original movie is I think 79 minutes, but then if you get like the unedited,
Which I have as well. Yeah.
director's cut or whatever, it's like
85 minutes, yeah.
All right, 85. It was written by Paul Kaimi and Michael Hickey, directed by Charles E. Sellier Jr., who is pretty much just, up until this movie, had done like all family pictures, like all family-friendly stuff. And then after this, I noticed his resume is like a ton of like religious documentaries.
So he slipped in this one little fucked up piece of piece of work.
Or this movie like led him. It's like, you know what, I'm done. all religion here and out.
Right.
Now, we can't talk about this movie without talking about the controversy that surrounds it. This movie was famous for being picketed and boycotted and protested against when it was in the theaters back in 1984. Most notably by mothers, a group called MAMM, M-A-M-M, Mothers Against Movie Madness.
Movie madness!
Almost every PTA association.
How could you be against movie madness?
People Magazine did a big thing on it, and Phil Donahue did an hour-long show on this movie.
Jesus, Phil.
So, I mean, this thing just lit up the controversy and like all over the news.
Must have been a slow news week.
Probably, and which is weird because the whole hoopla came over it being that it featured like a person dressed as Santa Claus killing people,
Sullying the spirit of Christmas.
Yeah, and Mom was like, "We don't want our kids seeing that." I'm like, "Well, just don't take your fucking kids. You shouldn't be taking them to this movie."
It's
in the
a
first
rated
place.
R movie. Get a clue.
So they went apeshit over the commercial, seeing that, and that's what led to all this hoopla. And I'll get more into that at the end of the show. The cast is really nobody too recognizable.
I don't recognize any of them.
Some older movie fans or like real movie buffs might recognize
Like 70s and 80s.
Liliane Chauvin. I think she's it's a French name.
Chauvin.
She played Mother Superior, and she was like a big character actor. She had a long resume of 144 credits.
Oh, Mother Superior.
The three other movies that on her resume that I thought were kind of interesting, just in line with this movie: Predator 2, Pumpkinhead 2, and Universal Soldier with Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren, which at the time when I was a kid, I loved that movie.
No shit, huh? I'm trying to think of who she might have been in Predator 2.
I have no idea. I haven't seen that movie in years.
It's been a long time since.
then the guy who actually plays the lead, Billy, Robert Brian Wilson, this was his first acting role.
You can tell.
You can definitely tell. And the only other person you'll recognize for horror fans is Linnea Quigley is in this movie as well. We've done a few movies now with her in them. She plays just the dumb blonde Denise. Mm-hmm. So that takes care of all the prequel stuff. Let's just jump right into this Santa bag of goodies that is this movie.
Santa bag of shit.
So the movie opens on Christmas Eve, 1971, with this family driving in their station wagon on the way to Grandpa's house, but actually turns out to be a mental institution.
Oh, shit. We're gonna go see Grandpa in the loony bin.
Yeah, you don't know that until
Christmas
they pull up.
Jesus. So, and that I gotta say that station wagon is sweet. Now,
Oh,
this
it's
is
so
when
sweet.
they had cars that had those bench seats, and it's like driving a couch.
Yeah, they really are.
Yeah.
It's driving a car, the couch in the front and in the back.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
When I was a kid, we actually had, I'm talking like 4 or 5, we had like a Pinto station wagon.
We had a station wagon
and
too.
it was awesome.
Yeah. So big.
It was huge.
I know.
So the mom and son are talking, or Billy, it's the young Billy. He's in the backseat, and they're talking about Santa and all this
He's
stuff.
reading a Santa book.
Yep. They arrive at the Utah Mental Facility, that's all the sign says, Utah Mental Facility. And the grandfather is in a complete catatonic state.
Right. He's not responding to anybody. He's just
he's
staring off in space.
And so the parents leave Billy alone with the grandpa, and they go off with the doctor or something to go over some paperwork or something. And suddenly Grandpa comes to life. So he's basically pulling a Jamie Lee Curtis from Halloween Resurrection.
Right.
Or they got it from this movie, most likely. But and Grandpa's like telling Billy that Christmas is the most terrifying night of the year. Santa punishes the naughty and be afraid of Christmas.
Right, like
which is so weird.
It's so strange. He's just like, have you been naughty or nice? And he's just like, have you been nice all year? And Billy's like, no. And he's like, you better run for your life. I'm like, Jesus Christ, Grandpa.
What is going on with this Grandpa? What meds is this
In
guy
his
on?
face, he's really
He's
hamming it
into
up.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's actually pretty good performance this guy gives.
Probably the best one of the whole show.
So, and he tells him that if he sees Santa, you better run. Yeah, better run for his life. And then he's like, Billy's like, Mom, and kids grabs like, shut, kid, and then he goes right back into his catatonic state.
I did like the scene when they first visit Grandpa and they go. He's like, what's wrong with Grandpa? He can't see us. He doesn't even know we're here. He goes, then why are we here? I'm like, that's a good question, kid.
So they basically they get back in the car. They drive back home. They just up and leave.
And it seems like a really long drive.
Yeah, they make it look like it's a long drive for nothing. Now, keep in mind, it's supposed to really cold outside. Even the weather report says it's low 20s.
21 degrees.
They say twice in a matter of a few seconds. I just noticed yes, they're in a car, but really nobody in that car is dressed for the winter weather.
No, they're right now.
Not at all. So they're driving, and we cut to a guy in a Santa suit who basically robs a convenience store at gunpoint. He shoots the attendant twice, and 2 in the chest, 1 in the head.
Yeah.
And then he runs off, and he makes a big deal, $31. Well, Merry fucking Christmas.
Yeah, so he kills this guy over $31.
Yep.
This is a bad Santa.
Yeah, not Billy Bob Thornton bad.
No, this is real bad.
So the family now, they're driving. They come across the Santa whose car is now broken down.
He has a sweet red car.
It does.
It is a sweet red sleigh, if you will.
Exactly. I was like,
Yeah.
saying, I was like, that's got to be it's a sleigh, man.
Yeah.
That's a sleigh. And so the Santa comes up to the car window, and they're talking to Santa's talking to the father, and he just pulls his gun out on him.
Yeah, he was like, I ran out of luck, and then pulls out a gun and starts shooting at him.
Yeah, they do manage to drive, put in reverse and drive away, but Santa's shooting. The car runs off the road. Billy gets out of the backseat and runs across the road.
And he's fucking like, Grandpa's right, I'm running for my life.
Yeah.
He just like, fuck you, Mom, Dad, woo, and just takes off.
Yeah, because he's like, I don't want to stop Santa. I'm scared of Santa now.
Mm-hmm.
So he runs off and goes hide behind some brush or something like that, brush somewhere. And so Santa opens the driver's door, and his father falls out dead. He's been shot in the head. He then goes for the mother. He pulls her out of the car.
She's screaming and fighting.
Yeah, of course she is. She's going nuts. And he gets on top of her, rips her shirt open, just wham,
So
buttons it all.
this guy is horrible.
Yeah.
He shoots a clerk, steals $31, shoots the dad, and starts getting real rapey with the mom. It's
Yep.
like he's got a lot of issues going on.
Major issues.
Yeah.
So basically, he rips open her shirt. You see boobage, and he just basically pulls out a switchblade, like one of the flip open kind, just like pop open, and just deliberately cuts her throat.
Slices her throat nice and slow. And it's weird because I don't understand the mind of a killer, but at the same time, he gets on top of her, he's ripping her clothes off, and then he's like, nah, I changed my mind. I really don't feel this is appropriate to rape her right now, so I'm just going to kill her.
Well, it is 21 degrees. Maybe just, he's shrinkage.
He's turtling up.
He's turtling up.
Yeah. He's like, you know what? I thought I could, but
it's just too cold.
It's not going to happen.
So he pulls it, catches blow. Now Billy's watching all this from his hiding spot.
Yeah, he's hiding behind some brush.
And the baby in the car, there's a baby. His younger brother at the time was like an infant, like a baby. And he's crying in the back seat. And then that's it. And then we fast forward to St. Mary's Home for Orphan Children, December of 1974. So we fast forward
like 3 years later,
now.
yeah.
3 years later. And basically a bunch of stuff happens at the orphanage, and I'm just going to kind of skim through it because this movie does a good job. It's not like other slasher movies where like Friday the 13th where they focus more on the victims. It's like building up this movie really focuses on the backstory of Billy and how he came to be the psycho he is, which it's a slow build, but they do, and for its time period, I think it was actually very well done. It's made it different.
I have to totally agree. Now, this movie's only 85 minutes, but it moves slow.
It does. But once it picks up, it goes.
It's good.
But it takes a while to get there.
Mm-hmm.
So
basically, Billy's pretty traumatized. They've been talking, and two nuns are talking, Mother Superior and what was the other nun's name?
Sister Margaret.
Sister Margaret.
Sister Margaret.
So they're talking about how Billy's had issues every Christmas. He's got behavior problems. He's always a big mess at Christmas. You know why? Because his family got fucking killed by Santa Claus at Christmas.
Yeah, exactly.
God, and Mother Superior is being a real bitch about it.
So, the orphan. It's like 40 minutes of the movie is this young Billy at the orphanage. So I'm going to sum it up for you. He gets in trouble for drawing a picture of a dead Santa and a beheaded reindeer.
It's a pretty good picture.
Oh yeah. And then so he gets in trouble for that. He sees two older orphans, like seriously, or like 18-year-old orphans, which at that point, why are they still in the orphanage? Having sex in like a closet or something somewhere. And it's a really awkward sex, and they don't look very into it at all.
Yeah, these sex scenes, I'm using sex scenes.
Yeah.
Are, just basically two people who are naked, like passionately or very tenderly kissing each other.
Yeah, and it's more like naked cuddling.
Yeah,
it's really all it is.
There's none of that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Mother Superior comes in, busts the kids having sex, and he watches her whip them with the guy's belt
like
as
her
punishment.
leather belt. She's got some problems too.
So then later he gets whipped by a belt too. So he's getting whipped, and then he gets tied to his bed because he got up at night because he was having nightmares. So he got up and went out to the hallway. Mother Superior catches him, ties him down to his bed like a goddamn torture rack. And then the straw that breaks the back really is come Christmas.
Mother Superior is like, you're going to see my techniques work. You're going to see that harsh punishment is the way to go. He's going to sit on Santa's lap, and he's going to behave.
Yeah, so there's a Santa Claus there. They force him to sit on his lap, and he's squealing, he's struggling, he doesn't want to do it.
He's like, no.
And he gets out, and he turns and just sucker punches, like left hook.
From hell.
Left hook from hell. Like Dan Henderson's hook. Just clobbers Santa Claus, knocks him out of his chair.
Knocks the shit out of him out of his chair.
Takes off running.
Back.
It's actually awesome. Just like 8-year-old kid just knocking the fuck out of Santa Claus.
What the? His nose is broken. He's bleeding all over. He's just like, what the hell is wrong with that kid? That's a great scene.
Love it. So, so now we jump ahead again to spring of 1984. And Sister Margaret gets a now 18-year-old Billy a job at Ira's toy store as a stock boy.
So just really quick, I know we skimmed over the orphanage part, but Sister Margaret is definitely like his ally. Mm-hmm. She's saying no to Mother Superior. He's got trauma. He's screwed up from Christmas. This is not the way to do it. And Mother Superior obviously is like, no, my way is the best.
Yeah.
So Sister Margaret is an ally of Billy's, like really pulling for him.
The closest thing, he has an ally in the movie. So once he gets a job, cue shitty montage of him working and being the ideal employee.
And what is with that music in there? It's like
well, that's what they come to the warm side of the door.
Yeah,
that's what I did earlier. It's
weird.
awful. It's so weird.
It's a weird song.
Yeah.
The music in this whole thing is bizarre. Too.
Well, almost all the music is was custom for this.
Yeah, it's.
I watched the movie twice, and the second time I watched it with the commentary on, learned some kind of cool things about it. But yeah, almost all the Christmas songs original were
Because I've
written by
never
this-
heard any
for
of these
this
Christmas
song.
songs.
Yeah, they're all so shitty montage is going on.
80s montage, got to do it.
And the whole time it's weird. Like I've never seen anybody else wear one of these things, but at first it looks like he's wearing a karate gi.
Yeah, it's like a weird smock or
And so
something.
But at first it looks like a gi until they show the whole thing. I was like, okay, it's not really a gi, but it looks like a goddamn gi.
It almost looks like what Mace Windu wears in the Jedi movie, like
without the hood.
Yeah,
sure.
like-
It's like a miniskirt version of that.
Yeah, and it's just like, what is going on?
He's
I
the
guess
only one that wears it.
I guess it's to protect your clothes when you're working in a warehouse.
I
That's
guess,
the only thing I can make
But
sense of it.
the douchebag Andy, who works like the warehouse manager or something with him, he
just,
never wears
well,
it.
He just doesn't do shit either.
Yeah, he doesn't.
He just sits around and drinks.
So Christmas has come around now, and Billy starts acting a little weird. You see him unroll Christmas banner, and he's like, it's got Santa on it. You see his eyes like going, uh-oh.
He's eyeballing Santa like,
Yep.
oh, motherfucker, and Santa again.
So he starts having these daydreams or dreams, like actually a dream. It turns out to be a dream about having sex with this female coworker named Pam or Pamela.
And again, their sex is just
And
cuddling
it
and
looks
kissing.
so uncomfortable. Like she is not into it all. It looks so awkward.
And Billy has a hairy ass.
This is the first time like, that's what Harry
I know.
has.
I'm
That's
just
what I
like,
said too.
because it pans up from the ankles, they're
Yeah.
like playing footsie, and then it goes to their butts, and Billy's just got a hairy ass, man.
Yeah. It does help because the angle it's shot
Right.
at, like the light, it's so bad. So,
It looks like Bob Ross is like hanging out of his ass.
yeah. So anyway, the dream ends with them getting killed by Santa Claus, and he wakes up like, no, it's naughty, because
Yeah.
now he thinks all sex is bad.
So he's had some pretty big trauma in the orphanage,
Yep.
so he's just like, I won't be naughty.
Yeah, he's all sorts of messed up now. So, the store also has its own employee hired to play Santa Claus just for the store. But that guy breaks his ankle ice skating, and Mr. Sims, the boss, has Billy take over the gig. And which you just know that's a bad idea.
Yeah, so writing's on the wall. We know what's
Yeah.
going to happen.
So Billy is obviously not a very good Santa Claus.
Yeah.
And
I love this scene. It's so awkward and uncomfortable. So he's playing Santa Claus, and there's a row of kids, and they come up, and there's this little girl sitting on his lap, squirming, and like, and he's like, "Stop it! What are you doing?" He's like
first he's
whispering
like,
this
please
to her.
stop it. Please
Yeah.
stop it. Please be good.
And then he's just like, cut it out. You know what you're doing? You're being naughty. And then he starts going. He's like, what does he say exactly? He's like,
I don't know. But it's like, no, I will kill you.
Yeah, he's
Like,
saying
no,
stuff like,
no, he goes
I
get
heard
punished.
naughty.
I
Yeah,
get
yeah.
punished.
He's like, you will get punished, and I will punish you. And it's like, ooh, jeez. But he's like whispering this, and she starts
Yeah.
to settle down. And then all the family members are like, he's so good with the kids.
Exactly. And he just gives her a candy cane and sends her on her way.
Yeah, and then she like cuddles her mom, like hiding behind her.
Yeah.
And the mom's just like,
The parents don't know at all, but it's so obvious. The kid's like wants to get off his lap, and he's like, he's got like a death grip on her leg and
Yeah.
her arms. Like, you're not going anywhere,
Yeah.
kid.
it's a really awkward scene.
So, so yeah. Anyway, once that's all over with, it's basically time for the store to close.
Time to close up. And Ira's like, let's
first, let me real quick.
Okay.
Andy answers in the back, stockroom manager, whatever. Andy douche. He gets a phone call from Sister Margaret, who's calling to check in on Billy, and he tells her, "Oh yeah, Billy's playing Santa right now." And Miss Margaret's like, "Oh dear God!"
She's
about
like,
to-
"Oh,
fuck."
shit, yeah.
Yep. So she freaks out, hangs up. Now it's the store's closing. Mr. Sim closes the store. 7 o'clock. He says, "It's time to get shit faced."
I'm just like, I want to work for that guy.
So now they have this impromptu Christmas party. Everybody's drinking. Billy now drinks for the very first time. This is the first time he's ever had alcohol.
And he's drinking hard. He's doing shots of J&B whiskey.
Yeah.
Like, he's not fucking around.
So the girl he likes, Pam, ends up going off with douchebag Andy kind of to the back of the store. and he's watching them as Andy's kind of kissing on her and like they're flirting with her, and they go into the stockroom together. Now Andy takes her back. Once in the stockroom, he's like, "Hey, I'm here to give you a present. I got a present for you." And she's like,
"You're really
Can't
gonna
you-
like it."
"Can't you show this to me outside with everybody else?" And she's like, "No, it's just for you. You know, I can't show it to anybody else." And just this girl's the most gullible, stupid woman ever.
Yeah.
She might as well just follow like, "Hey," the line like, "Hey, you want to see my trouser snake? Oh, a snake? What kind of snake is
Right,
that?"
right.
Like, it's that kind of line. And she's like, "Okay." So, and Andy looks like the type of guy who spent a lot of time in the discos in like the 70s and 80s.
Yeah,
He's
got
like
the-
Disco Steve. I mean, he's not wearing bell bottoms, but he looks the part of the guy.
He's
like,
just
back in
very
disco.
80s. He's got the little fro going
Yeah.
on. His pants are hiked up real high.
Skin tight
You know,
shirt.
skin tight shirt.
Yeah.
And, all he has to do is just boom,
Yeah.
strike a John
the
Travolta pose and
Saturday
you're
Night
like,
Fever pose.
Yeah,
exactly.
you're right there.
So, they're back up front at Drunken Sims and another female co-worker.
I love Ira Sims. He's like one of my favorite characters.
So
He's shit faced.
yeah, he's
he
getting
did get shit faced.
They're getting drunker and drunker, and they start singing Christmas carols as Billy heads back to the stock room, and he can hear Pam telling Andy like, "Stop it! No, stop it!" And we need to go back to the party. And Andy's like, "Hey, none of that."
Yeah, he's getting real rapey.
He grabs her and once again rips her shirt open.
Yeah.
Boobs popping out. And again, well, I'll come back to that. All right. So anyway, she slaps him and he's like, "Well, fuck you." He pins her down,
Mm-hmm.
mounts her, and Billy is watching all this unfold from like the shadows.
And he's getting like flashes
yeah,
of
it's
like
all flashbacks. of-
being like Santa killing his mom, of being in the orphanage, of all these horrible
everything
things that have happened.
it's
to
all
him.
these
Yeah.
flashbacks coming to him all at once. And so he finally snaps and he charges towards Andy saying,
Naughty!
Naughty! It's kind of
That's-
like it's like instead of Hulk smash, it's just
Yeah,
naughty,
That's his
punish.
that's his MO through the whole movie.
Yeah,
Then
pretty much from
Yeah.
here on out, every line of his is either naughty or punished.
Yeah.
And so he grabs a string of Christmas lights, wraps around Annie's neck, and lifts him off the fucking ground with one arm.
One hand.
One hand off the ground by the light. And it looks so awkward. Like, there's no fucking way. God damn it.
I mean, Billy. This one thing we may not have mentioned is that Billy's a pretty muscular guy.
he doesn't grow up to be a good. Yeah, he's a big guy.
He's a big guy, but at the same time, it's not.
No. there's
Unless
no-
you got the adrenaline going. I mean, I'm gonna let this one slide a little bit, and the reason is
Okay.
just because of this. Imagine like an adrenaline dump. I mean, you hear about like moms lifting heavy things to save their kids
Right.
and stuff like that. Maybe with all this trauma and everything, he finally snaps.
Well, the one thing
You know,
is, again,
"Argh,"
lift
you
up
know,
a car.
so.
You're using your legs, both your arms, your whole body. He just lifts this guy up by a string of lights with one hand. Like how the string, the lights don't snap, and how I call bullshit on it.
Hey man, they made things better, built to last in the 80s.
I get
Okay,
it. But I don't know. You guys who listen know that's my pet peeve.
it is
shit
it is.
like this.
And yeah, it is stupid, but
So anyway, Andy dies. He turns his attention to Pam, who at first he's trying to soothe her. He's like, "It's okay, it's okay."
Yeah.
But she's like,
you're crazy.
"No, you're crazy.
Yeah.
You're insane. You killed him." And she slaps him, and they
Real
start
smart.
Yeah, they struggle a bit. He grabs a box cutter and stabs Pam right in the stomach with, and then cuts upward
He
with it.
guts her, yeah.
guts her with this thing. She falls down dead with like this look on her eyes, like it's actually a pretty not a bad death scene. So now she's dead. So hearing the commotion, Mr. Sims, he's in the back, he's in the front. He comes back to have a look, and he's like, he doesn't see anything. He turns around and claw hammer to the head.
Yeah,
But
Billy jumps out. He goes, ah! He gets hammer time.
Yeah, exactly. And blood splatters everywhere. And it's like chunky blood because they get like a bit of skull.
I do
flying
like
with
the
it.
chunky blood.
Yeah, it was good. So now the last remaining co-worker, she
I don't remember her name.
I don't know her name either. It's like
Yeah.
I really
She's
don't.
like a secretary or she's like a HR or something like that.
Yeah. She's not a bad actress. She actually does a kind of a
Yeah.
funny job with this role. But so she's left calling out for Sims. The lights go out except for the Christmas light. She's like, "Oh, it's so cool!
It looks
Great,
cool,
come on,
yeah."
look at this." So she's like, Sims, where are you?" So she goes to the back. She finds all the dead bodies. She's like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah.
She runs to the doors, which of course have been locked by
Yeah,
Sims.
So Sims locked the doors earlier. They show him when he locks the door,
Yeah.
and he's got the keys on him. So she's trying to get out. She's like, "Fuck, it's locked."
yeah. And
Goes
this,
to call the police.
and this is where you see Billy take the fire axe off the wall and goes after it. Now it's like a little cat and mouse in the store. She hides behind, it's a little trickery. But she does manage to knock him over, cause him to drop the axe, which she picks up and runs for the front window. She's about to break the windows with the axe, and Bill's like, no!
And Billy goes, wait!
No, he says no or something. He's like, no!
And she stops and turns around
and just
and it shows Billy with a fucking bow and arrow.
Yep.
Where did this come from? I mean, it might be in the store, but
It is
still,
a toy store, and at that time it might have been a toy, but
But he just, it's so fucking cool.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It was just like, when I saw it, I was like, bow and arrow?
yeah,
What?
he comes like Legolas. It was like, lets the arrow fly right dead center mass.
Right through her chest.
She falls down dead. Billy unlocks the doors and just leaves. So, but right after that, basically, Sister Margaret shows up. She sees the massacre, and it cuts away to some house where Carol's outside, and a guy and a girl are about to have sex
All
on a
right.
pool table.
Before we leave Ira's toys,
Okay.
I gotta say, what a fucking display of toys. Do you see the Return of the Jedi, Jabba the Hutt display?
Yeah,
They
which I was like, I was going through how many things. I had that.
I
I
know.
had that. I had that.
I'm
I had
looking
that.
through that. I'm just like, oh my god, I want to hang out at Ira's toys.
Like I had that Jabba the Hutt thing.
Yeah.
And there's a mousetrap on the wall, and there's
Yeah.
this. I'm like, oh my
yeah,
god.
I'm looking at all my childhood toys.
exactly.
And they got like a Batman costume
There's
and a
the
She-Hulk
really
one.
shitty GI Joe, like just
Yeah.
plastic. It's like basically like a green garbage bag with a really flimsy mouth that says GI Joe on
He's
it.
got they also had G.I. Joe toys. I'm looking at all this and I'm just like, oh.
I know. It's like that's
all
our
this-
childhood right
all
there.
this nostalgia is coming back. I got that Jabba the Hutt thing for Christmas one year. I remember that.
I love that job because it's a thing.
doors flip open.
It did like a little pit underneath there.
All right, so I just had to talk about it because it was great.
Yep. It's totally great.
Moving on. So banging on a pool table.
Yep. I just lost my. Where am I? Yeah. So, guy and girl. The blonde girl is Linnea Quigley, playing Denise, and we get more boobs of her. They're making out, and they nearly get caught by the younger sister, but they trick her to go back up the stairs using Santa. Well, Santa
I
tactics.
thought she was babysitting. That's the vibe. I
No,
was getting.
I don't. Well, at first I thought so too, but then I don't know. I thought sister, just because they're talking about homework, and then actually in the commentary, even when it said, "Oh, the little sister," so I just
Okay,
went with
well.
them. But if you don't know, it could be babysitting. But so, they go back to getting it on, but she quickly stops again, saying, "Oh, she needs to go let the cat back in because she hears the jingling of its collar," and so she puts on a pair of Daisy Dukes.
Man, and they are right up her ass.
Yeah, they are.
I mean,
You can't get more like up their ass.
so it's pretty funny because she's making out with him. He's got some pretty sweet one-liners. I like the pool table guy. Like I could see myself hanging out.
Yeah,
with
because
him.
he's like, if you don't go to bed, Santa won't come. He's like, well, he won't be the only one not coming, or something.
Yeah.
Like if we don't get back to it. And then the best one is like, they're about to go right back at it again. He's like, 2 ball in the corner pocket.
Yeah, I know. I was just like, this guy's cool. And it was, when there's the carolers, he also he's like, I can't concentrate. And he puts on this music. It's like, bow, 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 bow. It's like, little sexy, but it's like sexy Christmas music.
Sexy Christmas.
It was sexy Christmas music, and I'm like, this guy. It was a tape. It was a tape cassette
Yeah, it's
too.
tape.
So
Maybe it's gotta be a tape.
this guy's got it going on.
But I just noticed that she puts on Daisy Dukes to go open the door. And when she takes off her shirt, again, I'm like, so far, every woman in this movie is not, like, nobody wears a bra.
No one owns a
apparently,
bra.
Nobody owns a bra. And if you're going to go up and open the door, like, why would you just put shorts on and not a top?
It would make more sense if she didn't put the shorts on and
Yeah.
just threw a shirt on.
Exactly.
Yeah, because she still had her panties on.
Yeah, she started paying, just throw on a shirt and you're fine.
Yeah.
But nope, she...
She opens the door wide as it will open with no shirt, just stand there in her Daisy Dukes going, Kitty, where are you?
Yeah. Well, in the commentary, they said, she had to be topless for her death scene. But at the same time, she's like, I don't know. Like, why would you answer the door topless? It makes no sense.
No.
So anyway, she opens the door. And like, yeah, why put him on the first place? The cat actually does come inside. It's like, oh, it's a cat.
No, there is a cat.
But right as she closes the door, Billy pops up with the ass.
Naughty! Punish!
She slams the door, but Billy just starts hacking through
He
it with
just
the axe.
smashes the door
smashes
down.
it down. He throws the axe at her, but it misses and it gets lodged into the wall. And so he grabs her. They're struggling. She's screaming.
And he's picking her up like
over his head.
When he's picking her up, man, he's just lifting her like in the sky.
I mean, it's
like really.
yeah, it's like he's doing like a Liberty lift or like one of those things like dancers lift.
It's
I
like
don't know.
that scene in Dirty Dancing.
Yeah,
when
she's
she
like
runs and
overhead.
he holds him up.
Overhead lift.
She's just holding her. He's basically just running around the room
They're
holding her over his head.
Exactly. So and he's just saying punish, punish. and he basically just impales her on the antlers of a mounted deer head.
Yeah, it's funny because he's holding her over his head. He's like looking around, like, what am I gonna do with her? And then he sees this antler. He sees the stag's head, and he's just like, yeah. There's this moment where he just kind of goes, oh yeah. And when he impales her, it's so slow. He's just slowly pushing her through.
And the effects for 80s effects, it looked pretty good with the antler coming through the stomach.
And she's like, oh, and it's not like he was like whack.
No, it was slow.
Slowly pushes her through. It's pretty nasty.
Yeah. Now, according to the audio commentary, Siskel and Ebert hated this scene and they bashed it a lot. They just were ripping apart this scene for some reason. I don't know. That's a tidbit from the audio commentary track.
Boo, Siskel and Ebert.
Yeah. Now, I don't know at this point how the hell the guy downstairs or the little sister don't hear any of this screaming.
And that's one of the problems I had.
That bothers me so much.
I mean, he smashes down the door. He's stomping around. The place isn't that big. I mean, I've been in one of these homes before where it has, I mean, he's not very far away from.
It's a bi-level. It's like you walk in the door and you either go straight downstairs or like up, right there.
Or on the main floor, yeah.
So there's not a whole lot of sound will travel right now.
No, and it's pretty ridiculous because it's really loud. She's screaming. Mm-hmm. He's throwing axes into the wall. Furniture's getting knocked over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess the only issue is, he was playing that sexy Christmas tape, but the girl, like, she's just like right in their bedroom, like, yeah. So how nobody hears this, I don't get it. But the guy does eventually come upstairs, and he sees the broken down front door, and then finds her dead body. But the way he does it, again, I call bullshit on, because he practically walks right into it.
I thought about that for just a second too. However, when you first walk in the door, there is a fluffy,
fuzzy
tree, whatever the fuck that thing is.
It was like an animal fur on the wall or something like that. It was
and I think maybe would block his view.
Maybe,
regardless, it still looked.
It's still you see like legs dangling.
Fucking girlfriend hanging on a stag's head.
So. Anyway, he sees her, he screams, but as soon as he screams, he gets attacked by Billy from behind. They fight. It's a pretty decent fight scene.
And I gotta give pool table guy some credit. He's taking it to Billy.
Yeah, he does.
He knocks him down. He kicks him in the nuts.
Did you ever see, when you first saw the blonde pool table guy, to me, he kind of, again, but he kind of reminded me of Billy Zabka from Karate Kid.
Yes.
I was like, is that Billy Zabka?
Yes. It's like his cousin.
It is.
Yeah,
totally
he looks
like
a lot like him. A lot like him.
So, anyway, Billy, again, picks this guy up and throws him out the window, which kills him because he gets impaled with all these shards of glass.
Yeah, so, I mean, but the fight scene isn't bad.
It's not bad. No, it's
not
really
bad.
not
like,
that
he's
bad.
really trying. He
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not
times,
like a great, but for like, two dudes just fighting, who have like really, for one, like no real fighting experience, just going at it, it's not bad.
Yeah.
And Billy Zabka looked like actually gets the upper hand once or twice.
Yeah,
so
you think,
pretty good.
well, you might be able to make it, but nope.
So Billy retrieves the axe from the wall and he goes to leave, but now the little sister shows up, thinking it's Santa Claus.
And she goes, Santa,
you beat me my present.
And Santa's got he's got blood in his hair.
And he's holding a fucking axe.
Santa's kind of beat up and holding an axe, a bloody axe.
So he gives her the
bloody
box
this
cutter as a
scene.
present.
So she comes up and she goes, Santa, and he kneels down, and you're thinking, oh shit, he's gonna kill a little girl. And he goes, have you been naughty or nice? And she's like, I've been nice. He's like, you haven't been naughty at all. And he's like kneeling down slowly, kind of creepy. And she's like, no, you haven't been naughty once. And he keeps asking her, and she's like, no. And finally he's reaching in and getting the box cutter, and then he goes, here.
Yeah.
Gives her the box cutter as a present. And she looks at it and she's just like, well, this is I mean, she's looking at him like
he just walks away. He doesn't say, she just looks at like, what the fuck?
She has this great look on her face like, I really would have wanted a Barbie dream house, but a gift's a gift, I guess.
But a murder weapon, sure.
I guess, yeah. Thanks, Santa.
So he walks out. I put an asterisk here just because I just want to know, for any of you who do watch this movie or have seen this movie, and Aaron, I hope you notice this too, but please take time to appreciate the sweet, sweet 80s giant oil paintings of two tigers in the house.
Yes! I wrote that down. I forgot I was about to mention it because there's two of them.
There's two. Huge. I know, not just one painting of a tiger, but two paintings of a tiger.
They're so big. I mean, they're like
the size of a
5
wall.
by 5 paintings of tigers. I wrote that down. I remember
I was like,
that.
I love it. It's so and then the wood is just the house screams 80s. I mean, it's just wood paneling and these.
Yeah.
It's so awesome.
It is so funny because the one by the pool table, I was like, okay, yeah, a tiger painting by in the rec room
Yeah,
or
the
whatever.
rec room.
I get it. But then upstairs they have another one, and when I saw the other one, I lost my shit.
I did too. I was like, ah! So it cuts to these two doofy cops driving around in their Ford Bronco cop car, and they're talking about how they're supposed to bring in Santa Claus on Christmas. And they just so happen to drive by a house and see a Santa up on a ladder climbing into a second-story window. And of course, they rush into the house. They don't
even
ring
knock.
the bell. They
just kick the door
run
in.
right in. The wife's in like, "Hey, what's going on?"
She's just like, "What are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing?" And they don't say a thing.
Nothing. They just run upstairs, run
upstairs.
down the hall, and they come back towards the Santa creeping in, like saying, "Oh, this girl's bad." Back to the cops. I don't really like the scene because there's no music. It's just awkward. It's dumb. But all it does is a fight scare because this turns out to be the father, the girl's father, trying to play Santa for her daughter, and that's it.
It's supposed to be. I think it's supposed to be like comic relief almost.
I don't think I think it's just supposed to be a false scare. I just think
I didn't. So
I didn't see it as comic relief.
So we're
at
both
all.
on two different wavelengths here. Then,
Yeah.
I mean, there just was it was not executed well because I looked at it as almost like because when they pan back the cops are like, "Whoops," you know. So
yeah, they just needed that music.
That's the idea I got. I didn't get the false scare.
See,
So
I thought it was supposed to be false because there's no music. If the music was like some eerie music or something, maybe helps it. But it's just there's nothing.
Yeah, there's
and they talk about it on cover. It's like we didn't know what to do with the music here because the way it was shot was like blah blah blah. So
we didn't do any.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's it. Nothing happens. Now out in the woods, we're out in the woods now, and we get these two teenage boys with sleds, and they're
like maybe 13,
14. Yeah, maybe
13, 14.
I say 14.
They're not driving
15.
yet.
They're not. Yeah, 14, 15 ish. And then they're about to go sledding, and they pop out two more larger boys who are supposed to be, I guess, teenagers, but they look like they're in their fucking 20s.
They look old. They look like my age. They're way too old to be fucking bullies.
Yeah, for like to be harassing like
especially the main one. You know,
yeah, the
like,
main one. Yeah,
he
I don't know
looked
their names.
old. Like
I
he
know.
looks like he should be a manager at a Denny's.
Yeah,
or something.
he should be in a
You
bar
know?
drinking freaking a Pabst Blue Ribbon or God knows
Right,
what.
he looks way too old.
I don't even like Pabst Blue Ribbon, but he's like the type of guy who looks like he should be drinking it.
Yeah.
So basically the bullies, they bully these guys, they noogie him and strangle him, like, get out of here and give us your sleds.
Yeah, they
It's like, basically 25-year-olds are harassing 14-year-olds for their sled. And
there must be nothing to do in this town.
apparently,
Like, I get the teenagers going sledding late at night. You
Yeah.
know, they're just having some fun, doing whatever. But the guys who are, should be at the bar
exactly.
are not.
So the bully should take this. Bully one sleds down the hill, hooting and hollering, like, woo, yeah, crazy. And he's not going that fast. It's
Yeah,
getting,
he's Pretty, pretty anticlimactic.
Yeah.
Because they're talking about how sweet this hill is.
yeah,
So I'm like, okay, let's see it.
It's barely like a 10-degree decline or something like that. It's like
They're like pushing themselves.
They are like pushing themselves. So Bully 2, the main one, who really the old looking one, he gets on the sled. He starts going. He's hooting and hollering too. Billy pops up from behind a tree. Naughty. Cuts with the axe. Cuts the head of Bully 2 clean off as he sleds by. The body on the sled goes all the way down the hill to where his friend's standing. He's like, yeah, that's. And then he sees, he's like, oh my God. And the head comes flopping down the hill.
Yeah.
And he starts screaming, like, ah, ah! And it cuts to the police station where we meet Detective or Captain Rich. I don't know if he's a detective, some guy. And he finds Sister Margaret sleeping on a bench waiting for him. Now, he tells her there's been 3 more murders, and we got to figure out where he's going to go, what's he going to do.
So it's now Christmas Day.
Yeah, it's Christmas Day. And it jumps back to the orphanage where all the kids are opening their presents and having a good time.
Yeah, so they basically, Sister Margaret put it together. She's like, you'd understand, there's a little bit of logic to this. You'd understand why he's doing this if you know what he's been through.
Yeah.
And the detective says, well, then we can maybe use this to...
What's he going to do next?
Yeah,
and then it's like the light bulb situation, like, the orphanage.
The orphanage, yeah.
So we get quick cuts back and forth, the detective and Sister Margaret and this other cop driving out to the orphanage. and the kids at the orphanage running around and playing with their presents. So it's like back and forth here.
It's Mother Superior's in a wheelchair now.
Yeah. The kids outside see a man in a Santa suit start approaching them, walking up. But so does the cop. He pulls up. He gets out.
And
he's like,
stop!
freeze! And the man Santa's completely unarmed. And he just gets shot in
He's
the back.
reaching towards a kid.
Yeah, and the kid's reaching out for him. Just gets shot in the back 3 or 4 times.
Pop, pop, pop.
Blood splatters on this one kid, which I thought
know!
was awesome.
It's pretty awesome.
And he dies. And the kids are ordered back inside as the cops approaches the dead Santa, but turns and then cuts back to the detective and sister, who reported radio that a Santa was killed at the orphanage, but it's the wrong guy.
He does not fit the description of the killer.
Yeah, it turns out it was a deaf priest. The church. So they shot a deaf priest.
I don't know why it's so funny.
I know. It's like, what? I kind of like when you at church, like, it's like when the priest up there leading the congregation, like, peace be with you, and it was like, also with you. And he's like, peace be with you.
Come on.
Peace be with you. He's like,
hello.
how does he lead somebody into him, or how is he just like, what's going on? So anyway, the cop that shot the priest stays behind and to stay at the orphanage to keep an eye out while Mother Superior leaves the kids and singing Christmas carols. And Aaron just mentioned she's in a wheelchair right now.
Yeah.
So it's the only way that kind of indicate that it's been time, because
She
nobody
does-
ages in this movie.
No,
It's been
no,
10 years.
no.
But it was like, let's put a shawl on her and throw her in a wheelchair.
Yeah. She didn't age a day. Mother Superior's keeping
And
it
she
tight.
was old. Like,
Yeah.
she was no spring chicken
Yeah.
when, in the opening of the movie. So the cop outside is looking around. And he finds his way down to an old cellar or boiler room that's separate from the building.
So there's the cop is there. The Mother Superior is like, you've done nothing but fuck things up, and she's a bitch through and through. And so he's like, well, he's like, I'm not gonna take this shit anymore. He's like, I'm gonna go search the perimeter, and it takes forever.
Mm-hmm.
They follow nearly every single step he takes. It's a very long scene. So he's walking around and he's checking corners, and he sees this kind of like you said, in an open, like, I guess, mine shaft.
It's not a mine shaft. It's just like an exterior cellar. It's like it's not attached to the main building. It's like this separate underground cellar, which leads down to like a
boiler room kind of
giant
thing.
boiler room.
So he's looking around. It's kind of building suspense. Oh, there's nothing there, and there's nothing there.
Nothing happens down here until he starts going
walking
back
up the stairs.
Yeah, so he walks upstairs, and as soon as he gets to the top stairs, wham! Out
Naughty!
there, Billy. Naughty! Axe right into the gut.
Yeah, and it's like he hits a bag of blood. I swear to God, because it's just blood everywhere, just explodes out of his chest,
And he
it's
falls
like
down
it's like he's a balloon waiting to pop, just full of blood. It's like blood bag. Just he hits him.
And he falls down the stairs. It's actually a nice camera worker, because the camera kind of
Takes
you see
POV.
it's like POV of falling downstairs, and then he kind of does like the zooming shot through the door down the stairs to an overhead of him. It was kind of neat, like camera work. I kind of like it. So Billy now enters the orphanage, and one of the kids rushes up to him thinking he's Santa, while Mother Superior is trying to hold back. Others like, no, and she drops the bomb on the kids by saying, "There is no Santa Claus," in front of all the orphanage, all the orphan kids, and as Billy's approaching her. And he's right in front of him. He pulls out the axe from behind his back, so he must have retrieved it from the guy. And he's got over. He's about to kill Mother Superior, who kind of just gives in. She closes her eyes.
She's just like, I'm fucked.
Yep, I'm in a wheelchair. I'm done. And right before he gets down, he gets shot in the back by a detective captain or whatever he is, who his shooting posture is so awkward looking. It's so staged. It's like, what? Who shoots like that?
He's got his legs really far spread apart.
I know he's like shorter with the part all that, but he's like they're bent down, like he's like about to ride a horse. Like if you you could put a horse between his legs.
He's bow-legged.
He's bow-legged. His arms, they show like it's so weird looking. It doesn't look right. So
like it's like look like you know how to shoot a gun, and he's never shot one before. It's like, is this right? Is this right?
We'll go with it.
Let's remember in the westerns.
So Sister Margaret rushes over to Billy, and he's dying. He says to her and all the kids, "You're safe now. Santa Claus is gone."
Yeah.
And then he dies. The camera pans over to the axe, which is landed at the feet of one of the orphan boys, and the camera pans up, and we see that it's Billy's brother Ricky,
Yeah, so the infant kid,
the baby from the
baby
beginning.
from the beginning, is also an orphan in this orphanage. And
Now
it's
the
his brother.
age,
Yeah.
he should be a little older, I think.
Yeah.
Then, but anyway, Ricky is standing there giving Mother Superior the evil stink eye of death.
Man, he is looking at her like, you bitch.
Yeah.
He has got some mean. It's a mean mug.
Oh, there
This-
is no good thoughts running through that head right
This
now.
kid is mean mugging.
Yeah,
real
mad
hard.
dogging her, and
Yeah.
then he says naughty and roll credits.
Awesome.
That is the original classic Silent Night, Deadly Night. Fresh off our minds, we're going into favorite kills.
There can be only one. Favorite kill?
All right, favorite kills. Classic movie, Aaron. What you got? What we got?
Okay, so my favorite kill has got to be in Ira's toy store when he
Oh.
shoots her with the bow and arrow.
Okay.
I don't think we've done a bow and arrow kill yet,
No, I don't think we
I
have.
don't think
He's
we
not,
have.
It's not a favorite kill.
and it was so random and weird, but at the same time kind of explainable because it wasn't like a compound bow. It was just like
No, it's like a cheap little toy bow, or like what kind we used to have like in high school PE class.
right,
like the
exactly,
plastic
like
kind.
target shooting.
Yeah.
But it's so funny because he goes, wait, or no, and she stops, turns around, and you see him holding it like, and she's like, oh shit, turns around to try and free herself, and then whap, he just gets nailed with an arrow. Weird. I loved it.
Yeah. All right. My favorite kill. I was torn between. For some reason I really like Pam getting the box cutter just because of the way she dies. It's so like they're just looking like locked eyes, and she dies like horrified. Denise on the antlers was good just because it comes through so close.
That was a close second.
That's
for
a
me.
good one. And then just the bully, the 20-year-old bully getting beheaded on the sled is a good. There's some good kills in this movie. So if I have to pick one, I'm going to pick Bully 2 on the sled.
Oh yeah.
I'm just gonna go Bully 2 on the sled because it's his own. If he would have been in the bar drinking like he should have
Should have
been,
been.
he wouldn't have been dead, and he got what he deserved. Don't steal a 14-year-old sled.
Yeah. And the body coming down, I mean, it looked pretty good. Like,
I
the
mean,
gore
for,
looked
again,
good.
for its time. It was very well done.
Yeah.
So
The head rolling down
and it's
after
a
it.
tough. Like I said, there's a lot of good kills, but I'm throwing it out there. I'm going Bully 2 bobsled.
All right.
or sledding on the head. All right, so that brings us to it is time for the odds and the ends.
Not only did they watch these films, they researched them too. Ugh, what is wrong with these guys?
Now ratings, kind of ran the gauntlet. Yeah, I mean you can kind of imagine. So
Yeah.
IMDb 5.9 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes 25% on the tomato meter with a 40% audience score.
That seems kind of low.
I thought so too.
Yeah.
But Amazon, being Amazon, like it always is,
3.5.
4 out of 5.
Wow.
Yeah, 4 out of 5 on Amazon. Plot keywords. There were 284 plot keywords for this movie, which is now the record for the most amount of plot keywords of any of the movies we've done so far.
Really?
I think the previous was like 177 or
That's
something
a
like
lot.
that. It's a ton. And these are they get some scientific plot keywords on
Interesting.
this
No,
one. Yeah.
I'm sure you saw lots of Santa,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
reindeer, or whatever.
of course.
Yeah, jingle bells. Yeah.
So, here we go. Rampage, Psychotic Nun, Berserk, Frenzy. Now we get to the scientific. Eurotropophobia or coitophobia, fear of sex.
Huh.
What is it? Mastigophobia, fear of being whipped, flogged, or other punishment. And rhabdophobia, fear of being severely punished or beaten by a rod or being severely criticized, or plot
Whoa.
keywords. So we went deep. I'm like, that's pretty.
That is pretty deep.
Yeah, and they all make sense.
Yeah.
but like I've never seen something like that scientifically. Like on these plot keywords.
Someone's looking through like Grey's Anatomy,
like the
looking
proper
for,
terms
yeah,
for these,
yeah,
yeah. And I may have mispronounced it, but you got the gist of it.
Yeah.
Now the last one I brought that just funny for all you perverts out there.
All right.
Camera shot of bare feet. For you foot fetish people, there's camera shots of bare feet in this movie.
There are a lot of feet. They show, because they have like 3 different scenes of the again, quote unquote sex scenes.
Yeah,
and they always start at the feet.
Feet panning up.
Yeah.
That's what they do. All right, so moving on to the trivia. I found some good tidbits of information about this movie. The, starting off, this opened the same weekend as the original Nightmare on Elm Street in 1984, and it actually outgrossed Nightmare on Elm Street on its opening weekend.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah, it is.
I guess all the bad press helped.
I was going to get to that here, but yeah, the more bad press, it just makes people want to go see it more. You tell me I can't see it, well, I want to see it.
Any press is good press.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, in an interview documentary from Going to Pieces, the rise and fall of the slasher film, Lillian Siobhan, Mother Superior, admitted it was a mistake to center the film's publicity campaign on Santa Claus, and believed it would have generated far less controversy if the studio instead focused on Billy's psychopathic plight, pathological plight. Also, in the story by People magazine, which I covered earlier, for 1984, the lead actor Robert Brian Wilson, who played Billy, said he felt so ashamed by the controversy he told his friends and family to avoid seeing the movie.
What?
I'm like, fuck no, go see this shit right here.
Maybe he's ashamed of his acting because it really stinks.
Yeah, I think that's probably it anyway. But again, about the controversy, before I go into, I know I have more of it on here somewhere, but the fact that they get so outraged over this, I don't know if it was maybe the time the commercials were aired originally, but this is not the first movie to feature a killer Santa Claus. The movie Christmas Evil, which I did watch and might do next year on this, we might do next year on the show, came out in 1980, and that has a man who goes crazy and kills people in a Santa Claus suit. And that came out 4 years prior to this. So it's really weird. This is what got all the strange hoopla about.
Now, this was a larger production company. This was Anchor Bay, I believe.
Anchor Bay bought and re-released it. The TriStar is the one that from the 80s that
which is
did.
still a large,
which at the time was huge,
large production company. So now this other movie, was it a big?
I don't remember. I watched, but I don't remember what production company it was. So moving on, many of the kill scenes were directed by editor Michael Spence due to the fact that director Charles E. Cellier was uncomfortable with handling the gore of the heavy parts of the film.
What?
Which I'm like, then why sign on to do a horror movie if you're uncomfortable with the gore?
It's so weird. It's you pussy.
That's exactly what I thought too. To protest the film, critics Siskel and Ebert read the credits out loud on their television show, saying "shame, shame, shame" after each name.
Holy cow!
Yeah,
that's intense.
That is intense
for the '80s. That's intense, man. I mean, every single one.
Well, or at least the actors and the main people. Like,
shame on you, gaffer.
Shame on you. Shame on you. Yeah,
that's incredible. Talk about press.
Yeah.
Oh my God! You can't pay for that kind of stuff. You can't.
I mean, that's just, I saw I can't believe they'd actually do that. That's nuts. So the axe that gets embedded in the wall and the Linnea Quigley death scene was actually apparently a real axe that apparently launched at her. So
Jesus Christ!
Yeah. No, don't move. Stay on your mark. We're gonna launch a real axe at your head.
Does that thing hit the wall? Whoa! I mean it. Shit.
So good on you, Linnea Quigley.
That's commitment to the role.
The film was originally known as Sleigh Ride throughout production, but TriStar changed it to Silent Night, Deadly Night at the last minute because apparently there are other movies being worked on with the name Sleigh Ride, and they just changed it at the last minute.
I like Silent Night, Deadly Night.
I liked it better.
I love it.
I like it so much better. The toy store Ira's Toys that's featured in the movie is named after Ira, which is the first name of the film's main producer.
Mm-hmm. I saw that when the credits rolled. I was like, oh, yep. I wonder if that's a coincidence.
Now this brings it to one of our two local roots, possibility anyway.
All right.
Sam Raimi, Albert Magnoli, and Ken Kwapis were considered to direct this film originally. Now Ken Kwapis is from Belleville, Illinois. He's also directing a lot of episodes of The Office.
Okay.
So,
Kwapis?
Kwapis. Kwapis. Ken Kwapis.
Horrible name.
The title Sleigh Ride actually ended up as a subplot in another film, the Disney holiday movie Ernest Saves Christmas. In the Ernest film, the prospective Santa that Ernest was looking for was appearing in a horror film entitled, Christmas Sleigh, which we did a movie named Christmas Sleigh.
That's right, you did.
Last week.
That's the one you did when I was out of town.
And not the original, obviously not that one, but
right.
I'm just like, oh my God, that's
what
are
funny.
the odds of that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So here we go. Producer Ira Barmick, there we go, that's the one his name, had to buy back the distribution rights from the film after TriStar pulled the film from theaters amidst all the controversy.
Wow, they pulled it.
Yeah, they pulled it. TriStar
Jesus.
also rescinded deals with RCA Columbia for home video and HBO for cable distribution. Now, what this was confirmed on when I listened to the audio commentary, they confirmed this. Now, basically what comes out is the main reason why the movie gets pulled. It's not because of the controversy, the protests, and all that. It's because at the time, Columbia/TriStar Pictures was owned by Coca-Cola. And Coca-Cola wanted to avoid offending. They wanted to avoid offending Coca-Cola because of their ties with Christmas and the Santa and all that. So they pulled it out because TriStar didn't want to affect the Coca-Cola product and profits.
That's deep.
Not because of the controversy and the picketing and all that.
That's deep.
Which
so
really just would have helped make more money for the movie.
Sure, but then you don't want people banning Coke.
Or Coke, you don't want your boss who pays all the bills to say fuck you. Yeah, so that's why they pulled it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's deep.
Now, here is another neat local tidbit.
We got a lot of them, apparently.
Don Shanks. I know this is in the credits. Like, wait, I know that. Don Shanks. He's the male stuntman in this movie. He was also the Santa that was climbing in the window on the lantern. But most horror fans should know him for his famous stunt work playing Michael Myers / The Shape in Halloween 5.
Oh.
He's also from Piasaw, Illinois.
Piasaw. Which is not too far from here.
No. So that I thought was pretty cool. Now, final one. This movie has been voted into the top 10 100 horror films of all time and top 25 slasher films by various other sources and websites, which is just kind of
yeah, I mean, that's nice. And, at the end of the day, the movie's not really going to knock your socks off.
No, well, not by today's standards.
But it's still, for 1984, well done.
Yes. So, moving on to everybody's favorite segment of the show, we get to play the budget game.
Time for Aaron to blow his wad with the budget game.
Boom. So, Aaron. Now, we were supposed to have a guest today, but I guess bailed at the last minute. Something happened, couldn't make it. Mm-hmm. So, I prepared for this as if we were supposed to have a guest. So, just keep that in mind. Aaron, what's your budget guess?
Okay, so this is a TriStar film. So it's a big budget. Now, you didn't have any big names, and I understand that lots of times the names require a lot of stuff or require more money often. I guess the biggest name would be the Mother Superior character.
Yeah,
and she wasn't in it a ton. 1984 money. We're playing with that. So I'm going to guess $850,000.
$850,000. Survey says Aaron came in under, but not by much. That was one of your closer guesses. The budget from what I heard on the commentary track was an even $1 million for the original negative of this film. Now
that's not a bad guess.
No,
yeah, I was right in the ballpark.
Now, because even though you lost, but it is Christmas time, you get as a prize, you get a giant bottle of Port Brewing Santa's Little Helper Imperial Stout Ale. But since I was explaining to have a guest, you also received the second place prize, which is Insanely Bad Elf Imperial Red Ale bottle.
All right.
So there's your prizes for. Because you won the budget game.
All right. Hey, so I get sweet beers. Thank you. These are cool.
Now, just some more budget information. This movie grossed over $4 million in 10 days in a quarter of the country in its first limited release.
Wow.
It was on pace to gross $20 million or more before it got the rug pulled out from under it.
Right. Which in 1984 is...
It's huge. I mean, 4 million in 10 days on a million. I mean, that's
on a limited release.
Yeah, on the limit. That's just awesome. So, moving on. Now it is time for 5-star reviews.
Is this your guilty pleasure? 5-star reviews.
Now, of course, this being a cult classic there were several, but I found some that were worth
just kind of weird.
Yeah. All right, from Conehead. This was one of the best horror films I've ever seen. When I was a boy, I saw it in theaters when I was 17, so he's one of the lucky few.
Yeah.
But this But this copy here will blow your mind away. So you better watch out. You better not cry. You better not pout. And this movie is why. Santa Claus is coming to town.
I like it.
5 stars. From S. Smithers. Silent Night, Deadly Night is one heck of a movie. The only thing I didn't like was that the killer Santa didn't get to kill the person he was on the way to kill after beheading the kid on the sled. I don't see what the outrage was all about when it came out. Kept me in the Christmas spirit. 5 stars.
And I gotta agree with Smithers here. I wanted Mother Superior to fucking die. That's the only person I wanted to see die. And really quick, I know we're doing 5-star reviews, but I just gotta mention this. I think Mother Superior is the villain in this movie. She basically created Billy through her abusive techniques and her just stern ways. I think she's the villain. She's responsible for those murders, and she should fucking die. And she doesn't! Damn it!
It's a good point. I mean, she is kind of, yeah, he's traumatized from watching his parents get murdered, but she certainly doesn't help the situation at all. That kid should have been in a proper mental care facility, not just care of
He
crazy
should have had
religious
therapy.
nuts.
He should have had, like Sister Margaret was trying to do the right way of, nurturing him. And we're, yeah.
So, I got a few more here. From John. Great classic movie. Love the fact that back in the day, all the old blue hairs protested against this film. If you like this one, watch Santa's Sleigh. Hilarious horror comedy. I just had to throw that one out there because that's referring to the Goldberg one we did too.
Yeah. Love that one. I was listening to that on the way here.
You liked it. I hated it. All right, next one. Amy Peterson. My husband is in this. 5 stars.
Yay! I love those reviews.
Looked it up. I looked at Amy Peterson, so I went through and looked up at every cred. There is a person named Jacob Peterson in the movie who was just one of the random kids at the orphanage. So she married one of the orphan kids.
All right.
All right. From M. Hickey. Now, wait a minute. Wasn't the writer of this movie named M. Hickey?
I believe
it was.
Yes.
So, easily the best Christmas movie ever made. Captures the venerable spirit of the season with a nice dollop of Old Testament revenge. Violent retribution against the naughty and general Yuletide-themed mayhem, while giving fresh meaning to spare the rod, spoil the child. It wouldn't be a happy holiday without Silent Night, Deadly Night. 5 stars. Suspicious.
Yes.
Now,
it's well written too.
It is well written. All right. Now, I went to found this 1-star review. I don't normally do this, but I had it's a little long, but just listen to it and then tell me at the end of this if this doesn't make you want to see the movie more.
Okay.
Because 1-star reviews are normally just like, don't watch this. But all right. So from Charles Tatum. This little slice of hell was picketed when released because the psycho killer is dressed as Santa Claus. That ain't the half of it. I have never seen a film that has such a devout hatred for children. The first 20 minutes of this are nauseating as a child is scared after wisely being left alone with his catatonic grandfather. The child sees his parents killed, including his mother, getting her top ripped off and her throat slit. His father gets shot in the head a couple of times. The boy, Billy, and his baby brother, Ricky, go to an orphanage where all the beatings and being tied to a bed commences. He grows up, leaves the orphanage, finds himself playing Santa at a toy store. He has a flashback and begins killing everyone. Of the 4 women killed in the film, 3 of them are topless when the death occurs. The children at the orphanage witness not 1, but 2 men dressed as Santa Claus shot to death right in front of him. When Billy, the main killer, is off, Ricky goes a little nuts, guaranteeing a sequel or 2. I remember thinking this was no big deal that the killer is dressed as Santa when this film came out. Now that I have kids of my own, I would not let them within 100 feet of a TV while I reviewed this. This film is disgusting, without the slightest scare or original idea. Go rent Black Christmas instead. This is unrated and contains strong physical violence, gun violence, sexual violence, gore, profanity, strong female nudity, brief male nudity, sexual content, and sexual references. 1 star. Now tell me if you're not hearing that, you don't want to go see this movie even more.
I'm like, wait. A lot of toplessness going on? All right.
Exactly.
Wait, hold on. Good gore? All right.
Yeah.
Wait, Santa Claus is getting shot? Yeah.
Yes. I'm like, this is the best review ever for a movie. Like, this will get you to go see it. So you failed, Charles, was it Tatum or, Charles Tatum?
Nice try, buddy.
All right. So we're wrapping down. Final recommendation. So bad it's good. So bad it's scary. Aaron, you're up first.
So bad it's good.
I kind of figured you'd say that. I can't lie. It's a movie. It's classic. It's a cult classic. I say so bad it's good as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think
don't get too wrapped up like, oh, it's only banned all this. It's not that bloody and gory.
No.
Now I will say, I want to say this. Not the version I remembered when going back into this, because there's this very inside joke line that Aaron and I have from when we did. I was kept waiting because I thought it was this movie, but apparently it was one of the sequels.
It's a different one, yeah.
It's got to be the sequels, but I kept waiting for that. So anyway, gotta say, so bad it's good. Do yourself a favor, watch this movie. It's a cult classic. Just enjoy it for what it is. And because if you don't watch this, you're naughty.
Yeah.
You're punished.
Punished.
You're punished.
Naughty.
All right, so that's gonna wrap it up for here. We'll be back in the new year.
Yeah.
In the new year. So happy New Year, everybody.
Horrible Horror 2016,
Rolling
motherfuckers.
Rolling on. So remember, watch us on whatever. We can watch us, but follow us on Facebook.
You're not going to watch us.
You're not gonna watch us. Follow us on Facebook. You're gonna check out our website, horriblehorrorpodcast.com.
You're going to listen to us on iTunes.
which is totally free. You will check out our Twitter at So Bad It's Scary. You can also check us out at Podbean at horriblehorrorpodbean.com. And Aaron already mentioned the iTunes. Check us out there. That's going to wrap us up. 2015 is in the books. Merry Christmas all. Happy New Year. We're out, Moon Goons.
All right. Take care.